now, let's give a warm welcome to your host, Kahtide.
Every gamer that believes in me, fuels me and fuels my power. I know I can do this. I know I can do this because I have. Live fast, eat ass, smoke grass, my babies. That's how I live my life. Next builds only. This is a certified Kahtide class. What just happened?
Hey everybody, what's going on? Hello, everyone. Oh, shouldn't have that open right just yet. Hello. Hey everybody, welcome to Coffee with Kahtide. It's me, Kahtide, your entertainer and streamer for today. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Thank you for tuning into our show today. Coffee with Kahtide is where we discuss the most up-to-date news and pop culture, where I answer questions and offer advice to my audience. So if you're looking for a taste of what's going on in the world, you've come to the right place. Before we get started with the show, I always like to cover some of my lovely social media accounts so that you can go check it out. You can find me on Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, YouTube, and I'm on X, unfortunately. Feel free to follow me there. I also encourage you to join the Discord community. The link is below. Also, if you're enjoying the show, consider following, subscribing. I also appreciate any contributions you can make through my Koffee link. Your donations and your subscriptions help support the show and all of my creative efforts. And speaking of creative efforts, last little plug, I am a game developer as well, so you can check out Salve Development, SALVE development.com, to get more information about my game. I'm working on an RTS. It's hot shit, so go check it out. A recent December Patreon update went up recently. Oh, and last shout out, did just post a new YouTube video, so go take a look at that too if you haven't. It's a little deep dive into Gmod servers. It's fun stuff. So go take a look if you haven't done that already. But yeah, so we've got plenty of global news, pop culture updates, and more on today's show. So why don't we just hop on into things right off the bat, shall we? Now, what's the? Sorry, my OBS acted up. Hang on. Let's get to the news.
It's time for the news. Let's hear it, Kahtide.
You can tell it's been a little bit since I've done this. I'm a bit rusty, so bear with me as I get back on task. But we are here for the current events section of the show, where we talk about news, politics, the economy, and all that other boring shit. You know how it goes. So yeah, let's hop into a topic here. We'll do a little digging and see what's going on here. One of the big hot topic news events that happened this week that I really wanted to get into is, oh yeah, You know the big one, the hot tamale, the one that the kids are all talking about. La, shut up. Stop. Ugh. Oh my God. Fix it next time. Thank you, CBS. Jeffrey Epstein contact names revealed in unsealed documents, according to the CBS News. Here are key takeaways from the files. Let's see. Are they going to play this for me? I swear to God they had a clip earlier. You going to play that clip for me, please? What's going on, CBS News? Okay. Anyway, I'll read out some stuff for you here. According to the reporting, documents that include the names of more than 100 people connected to Jeffrey Epstein, including business associates and accusers, among others, have now been made public following a federal judge's December ruling that the information be unsealed. Oh, God. A lot of people have been named in here. Let me see if I can pick out a couple of names. The release of the name stems from a now settled defamation lawsuit brought in 2015 by Virginia Guthrie, who accused British socialite, Ghislaine Maxwell, enabling her abuse by Epstein. Oh God, we have a number of J. Does here. Let's see where the names are that they're listing. I know one of them was Prince Andrew. Here we go. Documents released by the court mention some well-known figures whose contacts with Epstein have been reported in the past, such as Britain's Prince Andrew. The prince settled a 22 lawsuit with Virginia Guthrie, who accused him and Epstein of abusing her as a teen, an accusation Andrew denied. This one was pretty rough. I mean, I don't know if you've been following the news on this one, but apparently one particular story that came out from this was that Prince Andrew had a puppet during made for him for a BBC little like skit or something like that, and he ended up bringing it back to Epstein's bungalow and using the puppet in an unscrupulous manner. It's very bad, very, very bad. Let's see. Bill Clinton, who also among the people whose names appear in the documents, had allegedly been described by Epstein as a good friend. Interesting stuff. A lot of people listed in this. I wonder if there's like a better name list here. Yeah, here. Let's see. Gonna play. Love that these don't play. I don't know. I think CBS is just like blocking. Doesn't like that I have an ad blocker on, and it's just blocking my video. So I'm gonna see if I have a better link here somewhere. Crazy stuff though. Definitely not. I wasn't sure if we would ever see this come to light. You know, just because so many people with so much to lose are on this. Alan Dershowitz is on this for sure. I mean, we already knew that, but big yuck. Where the fuck are my clip? Like, I know I have clips on here. I picked out articles with clips. Not sure why the clips aren't playing. Let me find one more link here. If not, oh, okay, we've got a fucking YouTube link. This should definitely work then. I need to just get straight up YouTube links in the future, but you know, that's for my process later. Here we go. BBC News clip. Crap, I got my desktop audio off. That's a problem. Hang on, let me start over, and here we go.
Prince Andrew and the former President Bill Clinton have been named in newly released court documents relating to the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They include associates, friends and alleged victims of the disgraced billionaire who died in jail 5 years ago.
He looked
the papers
rough
relate to a case
before he
that
went
was
out.
brought against Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's currently serving a 20-year jail sentence for child sex trafficking. Our correspondent in Los Angeles, Peter Bowes, told us more about what's in the documents.
There are 943 pages in all, transcripts of interviews, depositions, all part of a civil lawsuit brought by one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers against Ghislaine Maxwell, his longtime friend and associate, who is now serving 20 years in prison for crimes that she committed with him. And yes, these documents have references to several of the very high-profile people that we know were
co-conspirator,
associated with Jeffrey
co-villain.
Epstein over the years. There are more than 60 references to Prince Andrew. There's the repeating of,
This guy, here we go. If you're looking on screen, if you're observing on screen and not on Spotify. By the way, these are on Spotify if you want to listen to these later. There's Prince Andrew right there.
At least
Rough
one
customer.
allegation against him that in the past Buckingham Palace has described as categorically untrue. Former President Bill Clinton is also mentioned as expected. He was
No. Okay, hang on. About the Prince Andrew thing, the royal family, of course, tries to deny it. but if I'm not mistaken, he had a lawsuit that he was involved in where he ended up, I think he ended up accepting the deal, but let me look this up. Hang on. Your lawsuit. Okay. Oh yes, he settled the lawsuit with Virginia Guthrie. He settled. He said he didn't accept wrongdoing, but he settled, which tells you about everything you need to know about this situation with Prince Andrew. You know?
Sometimes to use Jeffrey Epstein's planes to fly on humanitarian trips to Africa. But again, there is no suggestion in these documents that he did anything illegal. There are also some references
good friend,
to
Bill Clinton,
Donald
good
Trump,
friend.
and again, no
okay, Donald Trump, I would
that
believe for
he
sure.
was involved in any wrongdoing. And also references and the names of many other people who are not
Wait.
famous.
I'm sorry. God, they look like such douchebags back here. Look at this. I'm sorry if you're watching right now. If you're not able to watch, I'm going to try and describe it. But you're looking at young Trump and young Epstein, and they're just kind of like, hey, what's going on? Hey, ooh. Oh, hey, oh, yeah, look at that pussy over there. You know, they're just looking like the biggest douchebag bros.
Like, it's notable
absolutely
that the
awful.
judge who authorized the release of these documents said that many of those people had not objected to the release of these documents, which suggests that for those people, this could be, in a sense, a clearing of the air, that yes, they may well have crossed paths with Epstein at some point in some way in the past, but for them, there is certainly no suggestion that they are implicated in his crimes. There is still...
I'm going to see if I can really quickly check if there's like a list of names fully public yet, just so we can go over it before we move on to the next story. Here we go. Full list of names. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. I've got a list here. It's from The Independent. Full list of names so far. Let's take a look here. Okay. There's the guy. There's the guy. Let's see. Ghislaine Maxwell, and Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, David Copperfield, John Connolly, police detective turned investigative journalist who investigated Epstein, Alan Dershowitz, prolific lawyer who represented Epstein in 2006, Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore, Stephen Hawking, Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister, interesting, Michael Jackson, Marvin Minsky, artificial intelligence pioneer, Kevin Spacey, oh gosh, George Lucas, let's see, Kate Blanchett, Naomi Campbell, Bruce Willis, Bill Richardson, former governor of New Mexico, Cameron Diaz. There's a lot of people on this list. Noam Chomsky is on this list. Chris Tucker, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Oh boy, let's see. So many names. Oh my God. Anyone else of importance though? I think they front loaded most of the important people. Yeah, it looks like they did. That's okay. Not a problem. A lot of names though. A whole lot of names going out on this list. A lot of people that were involved in Virginia Guthrie's life. So, yeah, crazy stuff to come out. We'll just have to see what happens as we go forward. But yeah, big list of names. A lot of people listed. We'll see who is involved in it and how. But yeah, let's move on to another news story here. Something maybe a bit more lighthearted. Let me find what we have here. Maybe not lighthearted. There hasn't been a lot of lighthearted news lately, actually, now that I'm looking at my list. Maybe let's find something interesting. Let's see. We'll do something international. How about that? This one's definitely an important one though. So if you have been following the news lately, you've likely heard about Japan. A recent earthquake has hit. This is from the Business Insider. Space photos show Japan's ground splitting open and mass destruction after a powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake. There's a clip as well I will try and pull up. I think I have one on YouTube here. But on Monday, a big, powerful earthquake struck Japan. Apparently dozens are killed. Thousands were left without power. Some hard-hit cities include Suzu and Wajima. If you're looking on the page here, I'm going to try and zoom in so you can get a better look at those photos here. My scroll My scroll wheel is awful. You can maybe make it out here on screen, but before, you can see most of the city here on the coastline. After, completely devastated. At least up to here, at least. Completely wiped out. Very rough. Very rough. So apparently, Japan's meteorological agency reported 21 earthquakes, registering 4.0 or stronger, striking central Japan. One quake was 7.6 in magnitude. That is nuts, by the way. Oh my God. Thousands are left without power. Rescue teams are searching right now to try and rescue those trapped under rubble. 90% of houses have been destroyed, according to Reuters. Absolutely awful. The devastation is pretty incredible here. Suzu City shows a number of capsized boats. Apparently, the event was so powerful that the ground rose by more than 13 feet in some places, shifted more than 3 feet in others. Apparently, even Japan's aerospace exploration agency's ALOS 2 spacecraft measured the shift and was able to record that the distance between it and the ground had shortened. Crazy stuff. Absolutely awful news to hear coming out of Japan here. Really sad stuff to hear here with this stuff. So, hang on. Need to copy the link, not just paste link there. Hang on. I'm gonna put the link on here so we can take a look at some of the drone footage. Here we go. Absolutely awful. Here we go. Is it muted? There's no audio on this one, it looks like. Absolutely terrible. Look at how much damage was achieved by just this series of earthquakes. Oh my God. I'm shocked that the number's only dozens. I really am shocked that the number's only dozens, considering how much damage and fire. Oh my God. Everything here just looks like a wasteland. It's just a smoking wasteland, just rust everywhere. If you're listening on Spotify, I'll try and describe some things here. But yeah, just total devastation, absolute devastation. Oh, hang on. Other clips now playing. Okay. But yeah, really awful news. I hope that my heart goes out to the people there in Japan who have been affected by the earthquake. I know that only just a few years ago, that horrible tsunami hit. Fukushima was hit. Tons of people. I mean, I literally saw. I when I was traveling, I saw in places chunks of concrete with rebar, heavy, massive, multi-ton chunks of concrete that got washed up on the shoreline on the west coast. Crazy stuff. Huge chunks of concrete after that tsunami, because things just got washed out towards us. Insane stuff. Absolutely insane stuff to see. So really hope that we get to see some progress with cleanup and with recovering, trying to save people, recovering bodies, things like that. But terrible news. Absolutely terrible news. We'll do some other international news as well here. For those of you in the sports world who are familiar, Olympics, back in the Olympics, I forget which one it was. I think was it oh God. It was not Sydney. It was definitely after Sydney, but I'm sure the article will elaborate here. Oscar Pistorius, world famous Olympian, released on parole 11 years after killing his, I think it was girlfriend or his spouse, Riva Steenkamp. So he was yeah, here we go. Let's look into the article. Okay. Officials confirmed, according to the BBC, Pistorius was at home on Friday morning, having served half of his more than 13-year sentence. So it looks like, did you say 10 years? 11 years. Yeah, more than half. That's definitely more than half. Mrs. Steenkamp's mother said she accepted the decision to release the former athlete, but added her family was the one serving a life sentence. He was noteworthy because he was actually the first double amputee to run at the Olympics. Oh, it was in 2012, right? He apparently during the time had claimed that he had mistaken her for a burglar during the night, and was apparently convicted in 2015 after an appeal court in South Africa overturned an earlier verdict of culpable homicide or manslaughter. So yeah, apparently he's under parole now. He's under parole until 2029. He is confined to his home for certain hours of the day. He's banned from drinking alcohol. He's not permitted to speak to the media. He's also required to have therapy to deal with issues around gender-based violence and anger. And he's apparently going to live at the home of his uncle Arnold Pistorius in the upmarket suburb of the capital, Pretoria. So yeah, crazy stuff. He apparently did a lot while he was in prison. He drove a tractor in the grounds. He worked in the library, cleaned inmates' cells, things like that. He had a lot of positive reports in prison. Yeah. I don't know what to say about this, really. I mean, I don't remember exactly if it was many years ago. I don't remember exactly if how motivated it was, like what the exact conditions were determined are. Let's see. Might be able to find out. Yeah. Okay. I mean, all I really know here is that, according to the judges here, what they found out. Whoops, off my mic. According to the judges here at the Supreme Court of Appeal, they apparently changed his conviction to murder, saying that his version of events was inconsistent and improbable, and that he had fired without having a rational or genuine fear that his life was in danger. I mean, that makes sense, I think, if you really think about it. Like, the dude did fire a gun through a door when he thought there was a burglar, without really knowing if there was a burglar and having no confirmation. So, I mean, really, it's not the best, I would say. Not the best. Hang on, I've got an actual clip here we're going to play from CBS News.
South African athlete Oscar Pistorius has been released from prison on parole and is now at home. Pistorius served nearly 9 years for the murder of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day in 2013. His parole was approved back in November. Daniel DeSimone, with our partners at the BBC, has more.
Oscar Pistorius, once a Paralympic and Olympic superstar, has been serving his sentence at the prison behind me after being convicted in 2015 of murdering his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp 2 years earlier. He'd shot her multiple times through a locked toilet door at his Pretoria home.
Whoa.
Early this morning, the South African authorities announced he'd now left prison on parole and is at home. He'll live under conditions until his sentence expires in 2029. Those conditions will
Still
include
5 years.
not speaking to the media and attending mandatory classes on anger management and violence against women. In a statement this morning, Riva Steenkamp's mother, June, expressed reassurance he'll be made to attend such mandatory programs, but said they, Riva's family, who've been left behind, are the ones serving the true life sentence. I'm Daniel DeSimone, BBC News.
Yep. There you go. That sums it up. I mean, not much more I can add to it. But yeah, no. I mean, you don't need to be firing a gun through a locked door when you don't know who's on the other side. You only fire a gun. You got to practice trigger safety. You got to practice like good gun usage. If you're going to own a gun like this, you have to make sure, hey, I got to know what I'm shooting at. I need to know what my target is before I start taking shots. Otherwise, you never know what's going to be on the other side of what's going to hit that, what that bullet's going to hit. You never know. You don't know. You never know. And you can't make that call like that. You can't make that call. I'm sorry. To be granted, he did serve a long time. I mean, it's almost 10 years, a decade for, I mean, granted, he didn't know who was on the other side. So, I mean, I think, it's hard to say if this is a reasonable sentence or not, because I feel like sentences are always way too high. But he did murder someone, and I think that does need to be taken into consideration. So he served his time, he's out, he's doing his parole. I guess that's all you can really say about the matter, But, yep, let's move on to some more domestic news for America. Here we go. Fun times here in New York City. Human error eyed in Manhattan subway. Train collision and derailment, investigators say. Let's watch the clip. Because we've had some recent train derailments in New York City that really gummed up the works down there.
Tonight, more service now restored following that collision and derailment of a subway train on the Upper West Side. The NTSB revealing details about what went wrong. The feds, in fact, still on the scene tonight, but they are investigating more than just that crash. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo is at 96th and Broadway with details.
You got to see some of the pictures of these crashes.
Sandra, we were initially told that those two trains were crawling when they collided, but now with the National Transportation Safety Board involved, they say speed is still very much a part of their investigation. And at least one source tells Eyewitness News that that out-of-service train may have picked up more speed than operators expected. City transit officials suggested human error very likely could be the cause, but the NTSB says even if so, that could point to a bigger problem.
The dust has somewhat settled.
God, sorry, I'm going to pause here. Look at this shit. They really wedged those trains together, man. Yo, what the fuck? How did they make that happen?
Time for federal investigators to get to Manhattan for a look at...
I'm just going to describe it for you really quickly because I know some Spotify listeners will be listening here. We've got like one train on its rails. The other train is trying to merge into that train's rails and is like smushed together.
Justin.
We've got like... two trains, I think, derailed. Like, I think two train cars separated out now.
Time for federal investigators to get to
There's
Manhattan
that wedging
for
there.
a look
You can
at
see a
the
bit more of
train
it.
wreck that now has the entire MTA under the microscope.
This is the second accident on New York City Transit's property in 37 days. That's not typical.
Certainly not this chaos for hundreds of passengers Thursday afternoon.
Oh my God!
Some
They had
climbing
to
wooden planks to evacuate.
They had to open up wedges. And they had to open
collided
up
with an out-of-service.
They had to open up like the top hatch on the train so people could crawl out. Oh my God!
Train just north of the 96th Street station. Riders baffled over all the service disruptions more than 24 hours later.
More confusion than anger personally, just because I'm not used to having so many like subway changes.
Ishmael was delayed getting to the Nets game tonight and regularly relies on the 2 and 3 line.
Definitely disappoints because I don't think I have a lot of other options outside of the train.
The NTSB now digging into what happened. The agency says an unruly passenger pulled the emergency brakes on one of the trains. The control center then directed the crew to drop the passengers off and cut the brakes in the first 5 cars. The crew then directed to move the out-of-service train to the rail yard without power in the front half of the train. That's when it collided with a passenger train.
What the fuck?
Train,
How?
We believe had a green light, a signal to proceed, and it was going from the express track to the local track. The train that was out of service didn't have the signal. As a result, it bumped into the train.
How we doing, guys? Everybody all right?
Now under investigation, the crew members, the control center, and MTA guidelines. The Transit Workers Union quick to point upstairs.
Speaking to the vice president and the people.
This is important, by the way, because I think this is going to be more of the point of why these crashes are happening, is that they are so underfunded out there. They are not getting the funding they need. Those trains are fucking rickety, I gotta say. Let's listen to what they gotta say on this, though.
President and the people who responded to the scene, it was management who was controlling the train.
The NTSB doesn't want to commit on a cause just yet, but cautioned to not prematurely cast blame on the train crew.
Human error is always a symptom of a system that needs to be redesigned.
And speaking of
I thought they were going to go more into it, but that's kind of my feeling as well. Is like these people are working really hard to try and take care of the of these trains, and they don't have enough people. They're not getting funded very well at all, and ultimately that's going to cause crashes. That's going to cause problems. It's going to be bad when maintenance will catch up. Maintenance will schedule itself. You know, if you don't have people to maintain these tracks, maintain the trains, maintain the system, and if the management is probably also, I imagine, cutting its funding, you know, for things like dispatching and things like that, and scheduling, and trying to cut its budget, which I imagine it's probably doing because almost every fucking company or organization is pursuing that, it seems, these days. It makes sense. It would make sense that these sorts of injuries would happen. 26 people suffered minor injuries, it looks like. 300 people had to be evacuated off the train that derailed, and another 300 to 400 had to be evacuated off a train behind the ones that collided, apparently. That's also completely ruins everybody's day, their schedule. That completely disrupts traffic in the city. Absolutely terrible stuff. So crazy things going on in New York. Oh, looks like we got an ad break incoming, folks. If you're watching live on Twitch, you got 55 seconds to subscribe if you want to avoid those ads. Subscribing to my channel helps a whole lot. It puts dollars in my pocket so I can make more content and report more on the news for you. So, yeah, please consider doing so if you get the chance. Of course, VOD watchers and Spotify listeners won't have to worry about that. But if you are listening, I would appreciate the support as well. If you're interested in supporting through Koffee or anything like that, that always helps me out. So thank you so much for the support. Consider following and subscribing as well if you haven't done so already. I think I'll switch over to another news story here while we wait for this ad here. We'll switch over to some more international news, I think. Here we go. Love the ad breaks. We love the ad breaks. Anyway, for those coming back from the ad breaks, we're going to be talking about North Korea next. Apparently, they're firing artillery rounds towards South Korea's islands, prompting evacuations. Crazy stuff happening all over the world. Crazy news stories all over the world. Let's dive into this. So, according to Al Jazeera here, South Korea condemns move as act of provocation that escalates tension, threatens peace in the Korean peninsula. Interesting development. I wonder why they're firing. Let's see if we can dig into this. Apparently, North Korea has fired more than 200 rounds of artillery shells into the sea near tense maritime border towards 2 South Korean islands. Seoul is calling it an act of provocation. It responds with live fire drills. Apparently, the islands of, I'm going to butcher this, Yeonpyeong and Bangyang, 2 remote South Korean islands. Apparently, they had to evacuate to bomb shelters. Oh, here's the ad. 30 seconds in. Okay. Apparently, Pyongyang's fire did not cause any damage, but it is an act of. They're saying this is an act of provocation that escalates tension and threatens peace on the Korean peninsula. North Korea said its defensive coastal units. This is the important part. Let's see here. Wait for the ad to be over. Welcome back from the ad. I hope it was for something exciting, like I don't know, a disc plate or something like that. Anyway, we're getting to the rationale here. North Korea said its defensive coastal units fired 192 rounds as a natural response to military actions by South Korea's military gangsters in recent days, the official Korean Central News Agency reported. It also threatened an unprecedented strong response if Seoul continued to make provocative moves. Okay, let's see if there's got a clip here we can listen to.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says U.S. policy towards the Korean peninsula is making war inevitable. Kim was speaking at an end-of-year Workers' Party meeting in Pyongyang. He said deployment of U.S. military assets in the region had turned South Korea into an American military base. Kim also announced he'll no longer pursue...
Okay. North Korea has its fucked up parts, obviously. Look, I'm not here to support the Juche ideology or anything like that. No, I'm just here to say though that he's not wrong about that. South Korea is in many senses a U.S. military base, considering how much the U.S. military invests in South Korea, how much it supports just kind of the security apparatus in South Korea. That's not wrong.
Reconciliation and reunification with South Korea, blaming defense ties between Seoul and Washington. Here is Eunice Kim with more from Seoul.
North Korean state media posting a lengthy statement essentially capturing a 5-day key political party meeting that wrapped in Pyongyang, which covered everything from the economy to military goals in the new year and the food situation. But what's catching the eyes of those in South Korea?
Food situation. Bear in mind that that's part of the calculus right now is the food situation in North Korea. Because aren't they under a blockade that prevents them from trading from just about anybody except for like China and like Russia maybe. They've been starved. They've had famines in recent memory. Like recent memory, North Korea suffered through famine. So I think it makes. Look, I'm not saying again. I'm not here to defend the regime here in North Korea, but again, part of the calculus here is that many people in North Korea are hungry because they are deprived of food because of America and its decision making in the region. You know.
Is North Korea ruling out a peaceful reunification, saying that a military usurpation is the only viable option. Now, Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, is quoted as characterizing the nature of relations between South and North Korea as no longer that of kin or of blood, but of two hostile countries, two belligerents at war. Also saying Seoul is a colonized state under Washington, reliant for its security and national defense. KCNA also signaling 3 new satellite launches in 2024, drone production, and other preparation for what it views as inevitable war on the peninsula. Now, since the Korean peninsula was divided some 7 decades ago, there's been various scenarios put on the table for a peaceful reunification. But since denuclearization talks in 2019 broke down under then U.S. President Donald Trump and leader Kim Jong-un in Hanoi, communications have basically also been at a halt with Seoul, with Pyongyang. And we're also seeing signs of North Korea tightening its grip on North Koreans accessing any outside South Korean dramas, for example, content, passing out death sentences.
Who knows about if that's true? Look, I'm not necessarily. Look, Western media tends to be a bit exaggerated about its approach to Korea. I think North Korea. It's possible, of course. You know, I know they've done some fucked up shit in the past. Again, but like, look, again, at the end of the day, I feel like this still comes back to the American president. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think this comes back to the American president. Like, I really do. My personal take on the North Korea-South Korea divide is that if America withdrew and stopped using South Korea as a goddamn military base, military outpost, and worked to try and actually arrange a peaceful transfer, a peaceful existence, like peaceful merger of these two countries, you know, and actually use the State Department correctly, I think that there could be an avenue of I think something could happen. Look, frankly, we've seen this happen already. East and West Germany was effectively the same situation. A separate country, 2 separate countries split in half, being forced to reconcile after the Berlin Wall fell. I think that you could achieve the same thing here with the DMZ. Let the DMZ fall, work towards a peace process, withdraw the military out of South Korea, you know, make moves, make this can be achieved. You know, I think that if you look, you literally heard them talk about that denuclearization arrangement that was supposed to be happening that Donald Trump fucked up again, mind you. Like, they were on the steps. They were willing to take the steps to begin the denuclearization process, which they've been following for many years, many decades. And they were willing to put their cards out on the table, as far as I'm aware. And what ended up happening is that they ended up getting screwed. And of course, they're not going to fucking come back to the table now that they've been screwed. They don't have any trust in us after we've shattered the trust that we did generate with them. At the end of the day, we need to be. If America wants to be involved in this at all, I think what America needs to do as a country is to withdraw militarily and enter peacefully, and to be willing to act as a mediator between the two countries to try and find a middle ground. But that's never going to happen because America's government, America's military is within the thralls of capitalist control. They don't want that. I mean, it's more productive for them to have enemies out there, I think, to have tensions occurring across the country, across the world, that America can profit from. And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen at the end of the day. As long as capitalist corporate control is managing the government and making decisions for us, they're not going to let this happen. They're not going to work towards peace. That's just how it works. I think there's too much money involved in this. So yeah, sad news. Sad news there. Gotta say. Let's see where else. Where are we? Let's see. We got time for like maybe one more news story here before we move on. Let me see what we can discuss here. Speaking of Trump, you know what? Why don't we talk on Trump a little bit here, since it is getting closer to that election time here. Here's some fun news that we can all laugh at. New York Attorney General seeking $370 million from Trump and co-defendants in civil fraud trial. Now, we already know that he's not a billionaire. He's up to his neck in debts. He's working to try and correct that, of course, but CNN is reporting that he's getting hit with another 370 million here. Let's look into this. New York Attorney General Letitia James argued that Trump and his co-defendants' intent to defraud while preparing the former president's financial statements was inescapable, seeking the repayment of $370 million in disgorgement or ill-gotten gains, a dramatic increase over the original figure of $250 million. I mean, it's not supposed to be dramatic for him, right? He's a billionaire, right? He's got the money, right? He's supposed to have all that cash, right? He can afford it. She says the myriad deceptive schemes they employed to inflate asset values and conceal facts were so outrageous that they belie innocent explanation. Yeah, if I recall correctly, one of the things he did was like he inflated the square footage of properties that he owned so that he would get higher values on some of his assets. It inflated what sort of things were available on some of his assets or some of his properties, things like that. Absolutely awful stuff. Let's see what else they write here. Trump's attorneys on Friday argued that Judge Engoron, who originally filed this, should reject the allegations against Trump, writing in their briefs that most of the transactions in the Attorney General's complaint were beyond the statute of limitations, that Trump's statements of financial condition did not contain material misstatements, and that the Attorney General did not demonstrate any real-world impact. They say here, there is no evidence in the record that the terms or pricing of any of the subject loans would have been different based on the purported misstatements alleged by the plaintiff. Trump's lawyers wrote, not a single witness from any bank or anywhere else testified to this at trial. So, definitely trying to make that argument here. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it happen. Some of the briefs filed here apparently report that he was able to reap hundreds of millions of dollars in ill-gotten gains through unlawful conduct. Just more, I mean, really, realistically, this doesn't really do much, I think, to sway any of the people that support Trump. I think that they would probably see this as a witch hunt or as something to be lauded for. I don't think that they personally find this as a negative thing. Trump's going to beat the allegations. They're just trying to lump a bunch of charges on him so that he can't run. They're trying to knock him off the ballots. I mean, they're going to talk about that too. How it's unconstitutional to knock him off the ballot in states like, I think Colorado, was in Maine, places like that. Hey, you know what? I think the writing's on the wall here. I think it's pretty clear. He's an insurrectionist. He goaded and encouraged his people, his folks, to go out there to the Capitol, to fuck shit up, to try and stop the steal. And did it work? It didn't, because that shit's stupid. Of course, it wasn't going to work. The entire country thinks differently. There's millions and millions of people. You can't just go to the fucking Capitol to overturn the election and just stop it. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. You don't just stop it when multiple states overwhelmingly voted for Biden. So it's the writing's on the wall. It's clear. It's clear what happened, and I hope that we see justice. I think that justice is the only way that we're going to be able to possibly save this country. I think that if we at any point falter and allow him to get away with anything that he achieved here, I think that's going to mark that really, really bad slide down to really bad times. At least that's my worry. Who knows? We'll see how things go. You know, there's always a possibility that things will surprise us. But let's move on to some more lighthearted news. We're going to switch gears here to now that we're done updating on the news, we're going to see about what's popping and what's popular with pop culture. So let's switch gears here. What do you say, huh?
Popular Culture Barometer. It's time for the weather report.
Here we go. All right, everybody, it's our pop culture segment, What's Popping, where we discuss pop culture, the internet, streaming, and more. Let's see what's going on today, shall we? Let's take a look. All right. What's on my docket today? I have a bit of a list here. Oh, I've got a fun one for you here that you might like. This one's an interesting one that I didn't see coming. I guess maybe if I was following the news on Shia LaBeouf more, I would have seen this coming. But Shia LaBeouf has been confirmed into the Catholic Church. Reportedly intends to become a deacon, according to People. Apparently, back in 2014, Shia LaBeouf said that he had immersed himself in Christianity while making his 2014 movie Fury. I haven't seen that one. I don't know if anyone else has seen that one. Let's see. He's reportedly considering becoming a deacon. He's 37. Oh my God, I didn't realize he was 37. He fully entered the church this past weekend through the sacrament of confirmation. The Capuchin Franciscans, Western American province, announced on Tuesday. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. They're quoted as saying, the Capuchin Franciscan friars are overjoyed to welcome him into the fold and witness his deep commitment to his faith journey, the group wrote in a caption to their Instagram post. The post itself shows 3 photos of the actor posing with priests and friars. Oh my goodness. Absolutely crazy stuff. Do I have a clip here? I think I might have a clip. Hang on. Even Stevens to Catholic Church. Who'd have thought? Oh God, I keep doing this. Why do I keep doing this? I've got a Google Doc here where I've got all my links saved, and I keep just accidentally copying the link and not copying the link itself. Fun stuff. Here we go. YouTube link. Give me that YouTube link. Hollywood Reporter News.
Shia LaBeouf is considering becoming a deacon after converting to Catholicism. The Catholic news agency reports that the Transformers star was confirmed into the Catholic Church on Sunday.
Wait, I'm sorry. I know you Spotify users can't see this, but I'll describe. He looks like he should be running like a really, really pretentious whiskey bar. Just saying. He looks like he should be running a really, really pretentious whiskey bar with like the Edison bulbs everywhere. And he's very particular about not using ice, but he's actually particular about using those whiskey stones that are like cooled in the freezer. That's just that's kind of his look right now. I'm just saying.
Speaking with the outlet, LaBeouf's confirmation sponsor, Brother Alexander Rodriguez, said that the actor wants to become a deacon, quote, sometime in the future, adding that LaBeouf was inspired to do so while filming Abel Ferrara's Padre Pio. He just spontaneously said, I want to become a deacon.
Of course he put the robes on. He was like, oh, I feel the power of the robes, baby. Oh, I feel God through these robes. And then he went for it. Of course he did.
Still feels that way. LaBeouf was raised both Jewish by his mother and Christian by his father, and had both a bar mitzvah and a baptism. The actor has said in previous interviews that he was drawn to Catholicism amid alcoholism and difficulties in his personal life, including a December 2020 lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend FKA Twigs, who accused LaBeouf of relentless abuse, sexual battery, assault, and emotional distress. The actor previously told the Hollywood Reporter that Mel Gibson had taken him under his wing and introduced him to things like Latin Mass. Many years ago, I went to his house and told him to his face...
Whoa, this took a different turn. Okay, I really have not been keeping up on Shia LaBeouf news because 1, I didn't know that he got sued by FKA Twigs for abuse. 2, I didn't know that this was in relation to Mel Gibson. Holy shit, what? Oh, that makes this even more dark and twisted. Holy fuck, what?
that his religious views and politics were a hindrance to his craft. He giggled with grace and told me to read about the Maccabees. As I fell forward, he always remained supportive.
Oh my
For more on the
God.
story, head to thr.com. And for the latest entertainment news and updates, keep watching the Hollywood Reporter News.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. That's some fucking bad news bear shit. Okay, I didn't know this. So, abuse, lawsuit, Mel Gibson comes in, takes him under his wing. What the fuck? This is giving me some really sussy vibes. I'm just saying it. Look, good for him. I hope that he has a great time at the Catholic Church, but this is just giving me some super sus vibes. Just saying. Anyway, that's the little update on Shia LaBeouf. Let's see what else is coming up here. Let's see what else we got here. This one's a hot streamer, internet news. This is some hot goss. Many of you probably have already heard this. Logan Paul is finally offering CryptoZoo refunds. He's finally offering CryptoZoo refunds. If you're not aware of it, he had a big kerfuffle, I think a couple years ago, earlier last year maybe. I think it was 2019, 2020. Like it was around the pandemic era. He had this big plan to do this game, this NFT game called CryptoZoo. He was going to it was going to be like you have eggs and you hatch them into like these JPEG morph animals. Absolutely awful. Honestly, totally ripped off the idea from the Sierra. I think it was Sierra. Was it Sierra that published it? Impossible Creatures. Oh yeah, Microsoft Game Studios, Impossible Creatures. Go play that RTS if you haven't done it already. That's a better version of CryptoZoo that you don't have to pay for. Well, you can buy it on Steam, but it's like $5, so don't even worry about it. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in something else here. He's apparently offering refunds finally on CryptoZoo. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see these better. But the refunds are really bad. So let's look into this a bit more. He has an official buyback website. You receive Ethereum in return for the base egg or the base animal NFTs that you purchased. Apparently for each NFT, you will receive 0.1 Ethereum from today. I don't know what 0.1 Ethereum is. Let's see. Let me look it up. Ethereum. 0.1 Ethereum is $2,224. Oh, is that one Ethereum right now? Hold on. That's $224. So that's not that much. Currently, if you purchase any hybrid animal NFTs, you won't be able to take part in the buyback scheme. So yeah, there's a lot of conditions on this. Let's see. There's a lot of videos that kind of go into this in detail, but if I'm not mistaken, he's only offering a percentage of the losses that were incurred on here from what people spent. In his statement here, it actually says this here, .esports is reporting. Paul claims that the bad actors had stolen money, betrayed the team while also working to sabotage the game. This lawsuit is a result of an extensive investigation. Coffeezilla's investigation, by the way. A lot of this work had been ripped off from Coffeezilla's initial investigation, who did a lot of the expose on this. Go check out that video if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet. But this lawsuit is the result of an extensive investigation that included the review of the entirety of conversations and tracking nefarious trading activity related to the project, Paul said, before adding it was nefarious trading activity taken behind our backs without our knowledge and with the intention of defrauding us all. Now, to his credit, he didn't make any, as far as I'm aware, he didn't make any money selling off any of his fraudulent NFTs. That was a lot of his co-conspirators doing it. But still, he was responsible for this project, and he had a lot of time to try and make this right. At least a year, if I'm not mistaken. Esports continues to say here, from the very beginning, there were multiple red flags with CryptoZoo, most notoriously the alleged use of stock images to create the final design artwork for its NFTs. Ultimately, it's the work of Coffeezilla that thrust CryptoZoo back into the spotlight, and following a public feud with Paul, has now finally led to buyers getting their money back. But again, not all of their money back. And again, bear in mind, in many of the statements that Logan Paul made, he did say that he was intent on finishing the game. In his recent statements, however, he has made it clear he's not finishing the game. So you can expect that to not see CryptoZoo coming out at any time soon. Fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff here. So yeah, I'm trying to see if there's like a breakdown. Hang on. I'm gonna All refund breakdown. I want to see if there's like an actual partial refund. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to report this. I'm going to read this out from BBC really quickly. Euroni has now announced the start of the buyback process, which he says will cost him 2.3 million. He will refund players 0.1 Ethereum. The NFTs were originally sold in September 2021 for 0.1 Ethereum. Okay, so I guess at least that's the equivalent price technically. However, its monetary value has dropped by 37% since the launch of cryptos and NFTs, which means fans will still lose out financially. Also, he did make this one quick statement to try and validate some or justify some of his decision making. He says in his tweet, "The buyback is not intended to compensate those who gambled on the crypto market and lost." He added that it was not intended as an investment vehicle. That tells you all about what he thinks about some of his purchasers, some of his fans. The frank, ultimate truth of the matter is that of course, some people may have purchased this as an investment vehicle, but many people purchased this to play a game. They were buying eggs and animals to play a game that he was promising that never materialized. The game itself never materialized. He promised to materialize that game and did not materialize that game. So that's the long and short of it, unfortunately. And at the end of the day, he's not refunding the full value. He's refunding partial values to people. He's not refunding to certain categories of people. He's only refunding for certain types of NFTs that he sold. It's just not good. And he has the ability. He owns, if I'm not mistaken, a multi-billion-dollar company, or has partial ownership of it. Isn't it like Prime Drink, like Prime Energy Drink or whatever? Like, he could pay people back. He can afford it, and he's not doing it. So that's where we're at this point, I think. Let me sip here. Hang on. Let's look up some more news here. Here's a big ticket item that came up recently. Very exciting stuff to hear as well. YouTube demonetizes public domain Steamboat Willie video after copyright claim. This recently occurred here. A lot of people have been testing the boundaries of the public domain situation with Steamboat Willie, because that has actually, as of January 1st, entered the public domain. Now, of course, Disney is remarkably litigious, so I would not be surprised here, but Mashable is reporting on this here. Let's look into it a bit more. Here we go. Look at that. Here's an update for it on January 5th. So this was Disney, apparently. So I'll just read the update first before we go into what happened. On Friday, Disney retracted the copyright claim on YouTuber Brock Baker's Steamboat Willie video. Brock Baker had apparently created, or at least uploaded, a new video titled Steamboat Willie Brock's Dub to his YouTube channel, and he had more than 1 million subscribers see it. It contains the entirety of the 1928 Disney animated short Steamboat Willie, with Baker providing his own comedic voiceovers and sound effects throughout the less than 8-minute long cartoon. YouTube demonetized the video, evidently on behalf of the erstwhile copyright owner Disney. So yeah, YouTube is still automatically copyright striking a lot of these videos that are going up. I'm pretty sure this is not the only one that got struck. Let's see here. Prior to this year, nothing here would be out of the ordinary. Disney is very protective of its copyrighted works. Would likely be especially so of a film like Steamboat Willie, as it stars its most iconic character, Mickey Mouse. But yes, look, as you can see here, Mickey Mouse has entered the public domain on January 1st, 2024. To be fair, it's only the 1928 version of Mickey Mouse that has entered the public domain. So if you're trying to do any modern day Mickeys, you're going to probably get flagged. But technically speaking, for everybody here, you can pretty much just post and stream and watch freely Steamboat Willie, and you can make your own modifications to it, whatever you want. There are some guidelines, of course. You have to kind of follow the style guideline of Steamboat Willie, but ultimately you can do whatever the hell you want with it. But yeah, it's not surprising that this happened. Of course, I don't think YouTube's copyright flagging system is able to be that quick about not flagging these things. I'm sure that Disney's system was pretty eager to flag it as well. I'm trying to see if we have anything Oh, yeah, here's another thing I was going to show you here. This is from EastIdahoNews.com. Multiple Mickey Mouse horror movies announced as Steamboat Willie enters public domain. That is definitely something they were sitting on this, waiting to go, ready to go on this one. Yeah, Mickey's Mousetrap film teaser trailer. I'm not going to play this because I don't give a shit, but they are reporting here at least 2 films starring an early version of the Walt Disney Company's famous mascot were announced this week as the copyright for Disney's 1928 animated short film Steamboat Willie entered the public domain for the first time. A teaser trailer for Mickey's Mousetrap, a live-action film directed by Jamie Bailey and released Monday, depicts a group of friends who are terrorized by someone in a mask, the smiling rodent at a carnival. The mouse is out, the trailer declared. This looks pretty low budget. This looks uninteresting, to me at least. I mean, it's probably just going to be some shitty slasher shit, filmed on a budget, but whatever. What's the other one? Do they say what the other movie is? Doesn't look like they do, but this is following a trend. Obviously, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, that was 2022. There was a copyright expiration on A.A. Milne's original Winnie the Pooh character, so people were making movies on that. So people jump on this shit pretty quickly. One thing to note, of course, is Disney itself is highly responsible for a lot of the copyright extensions that we see nowadays. The reason why we're only seeing Mickey Mouse come out of public domain in 2024 and not some like back, I think what was it, 1970s, I think is when it was originally supposed to be, when he was originally supposed to be coming off into the public domain, was because of Disney, because they were very litigious. They fought hard to try and retain the copyright on Mickey Mouse. And by that virtue, they extended the copyright for a bunch of other things too, just in general. So it's good. It's a welcome thing to see here that we can finally start goofing around with Mickey Mouse. I've seen so many good memes come out of people just really just fucking around with Mickey, messing Mickey up real big time, saying some interesting leftist woke ass shit. I love that. It's so good. Keep it up, people. Oh yeah. Okay, let's see here. I'm so thirsty. Hang on. Tasty. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this one was something that came out recently that I'm gonna try and dig into a bit more later, but wanted to touch on it really quickly. There's been a scam allegation going out recently. This is a Dexerto article talking about it. Asmongold addresses charity stream scam accusations. I don't have to say anything. Let's see here. So OTK co-founder Asmongold has addressed charity stream scam accusations on stream, but made it clear that he's not going to directly talk about it. So apparently there were some investigative reporters that dug into some streams here that were going on. What were the streams called again? I'm gonna look here. I remember they were under something. Oh yes, it was Soft Giving. Okay, Jacob Wolf here is reporting about Soft Giving, the charity streams that they were doing. It's apparently a for-profit company that collected 42% of charity donations. And apparently Asmongold responded to it here. I'm going to see if I can give you some more context before I play this. But apparently they're claiming that millions in charity donations were never actually made to charity. This is something that I've heard about in other streaming circles too. Other streamers have actually been under the microscope for things like this, where they've been collecting money and that money has just not been going out to charities. They report further here that the company organized streams with some of the internet's biggest influencers, including Asmongold and Mizkif. He was talking about it apparently, and said he doesn't have to say anything about the situation, which is definitely an interesting interesting stance to take. It makes me wonder if he's under some sort of scrutiny legally and he can't say anything, or if he just doesn't want to say anything about it at all. But it does seem like he's pretty aggressive about it. In the clip, Asmongold asks, "Who gives a shit? Somebody makes an allegation against me and suddenly I have to respond to it? No, I don't have to say anything. Who gives a fuck? What am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and try to defend myself and explain it to people? No, there's no reason to. What do you think I'm going to do?"
Some huge allegations were made about against you and OTK streamers. Well, who gives a... Somebody makes an allegation against me and now somehow I have to respond to it? No. I don't have to say anything. Oh, a big allegation. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Who gives a fuck? What am I gonna sit here like and try to, I'm gonna try to defend myself and explain it to people? No, there's no reason to. Is it true I'm a vampire? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, bro, not giving a fuck is everything. Yeah, I mean, like, what do you think I'm gonna do? They can defend themselves, exactly. And you're gonna react to the Ruricon? Yeah, I will. But no, I'm fully aware that that people are always gonna have some sort of accusation against me. Oh, I did this, I did that. I'm a scammer. I'm like something else or whatever. I'm a bad person. I'm a racist. Like this, guys. Here's the thing. I don't go out of my way to actively shut this stuff down because any reasonable person that looks into it will see the truth of it.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's an interesting situation. One I think we will have to watch and see how it develops. Definitely, I would say, be careful trusting people when charity streams come up. I think charity streams are kind of one of those things that people use to build an audience and to draw folks in. It can sometimes you can get carried away with it, frankly, in the best of times, and in the worst of times, you can get scammed. It does happen. That does happen sometimes. Charity scams do happen. They're really disgusting, but it's always something to watch out for. And I guess I would say, don't look. You don't know who a streamer is. You don't know what they're doing necessarily. So like, don't count on them. Like, always have this thought in the back of your head, I think, which is that they could fuck you over. They could do something that you don't agree with. They could, be embroiled in controversy at some point. Just expect it, and don't sink all of your eggs into one basket. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm being weird about that. Maybe I have a wrong take on this. But like, people are people. They're gonna mess up. They're gonna make the wrong decision sometimes. You just gotta recognize that that's gonna happen sometimes. Not to say that this is an open and shut case. I don't know about the full details on that, but hey, sometimes people do this shit. I mean, we've seen time and time again people trying to, scam others with crypto and like trying to fucking generate views for shit in really scuzzy ways. It happens. I'm just letting you know. Just be wary. Be aware that it's going to happen. Okay. Anyway, just wanted to touch on that one really quickly. Let's see if there's anything interesting. What other interesting news is going on here? We'll do a little bit more traditional pop culture. We'll go back in time to Brittney Spears. Brittney Spears has actually shot down any album rumors and is vowing to never return to the music industry, according to the AP. Good for her, by the way. I good for her, I gotta say. Let's read a little bit. Brittney Spears is shooting out rumors of a new album, vowing to never return to the music industry. At the same time, Spears noted in Wednesday's Instagram post, she's still writing music just for other people. When I write for fun, or I write for other people, she wrote. I've written over 20 songs for other people the past 2 years. I'm a ghostwriter, and I honestly enjoy it that way. Hey, that's great. Honestly, that's awesome, actually. In the caption, when she blasted those who keep saying I'm turning to random people to do a new album. This is the first time Spears has indicated she's retiring from releasing her own music. July 2021, while still under the infamous conservatorship that controlled her life, money, and voice for nearly 14 years, her longtime manager Larry Rudolph resigned, saying she had no intention of resuming her career. Just after being released from the conservatorship later that year, she took to Instagram to say she was scared of the music business and that not doing her own music was an act of defiance against her family. But the next year, she released the single "Hold Me Closer," collaboration with Elton John that spent 20 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, peaking at number 6. Last year's "Mind Your Business," a single with will.i.am, was poorly reviewed and failed to make the Hot 100, though. Spears' last album was 2016's "Glory." But yeah, good for her, honestly. She suffered a lot. She suffered for a long time, and God damn, I keep doing this. She suffered a really long time, and I think it's fair. If you've been exploited that long for your music, I wouldn't want to go back to the music industry after that. I would want to don't want to be left alone to do my own work and
Brittney
not have all the
Spears
and not have all the attention on me. You know, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. I think I would want the break. I would want the break. I would want the separation, the distance, personally.
The media liars. She wasn't talking about me, but the pop queen is saying she is done with music for real, and all the rumors about a new album are false.
Watch a little Billboard news here, huh?
Listen, It's No Lie fans have been begging
Tetris
for a
Kelly,
piece of
what a
new
name.
music from Brit. But now
I
that
love
there
that
are
his name's
so many
Tetris.
rumors about her making a new album, like that she's working with Julia Michaels and Charlie XCX, among other things, she's setting the record straight. She said on IG, "Just so we're clear, most of the news is trash. They keep saying I'm turning to random people to do a new album. I will never return to the music industry. When I write for fun or I write for other people." Wait, Brittney, who are these people? I want to know these songs. She continued, "I've written over 20 songs for other people the past 2 years. I'm a ghostwriter and I honestly enjoy it that way." Well, we are so glad to know she's being creative. And though
Okay, they didn't really have anything else to fill in here, unfortunately, with that clip. But that's okay. You know what? Here's my take. Good for her. I want get your money. You know, work hard. If you want to stay out of the limelight and just help other people with their careers, I think that's super awesome. You know, she's in a great position to do that. People love Brittney Spears. Like, they followed her work and they followed her story for a long time. I think that's a great place to be. That mentorship role is an awesome place to be. You get to really help shape a lot of new and up and coming performers and really change the industry a little bit in your own direction, I think. So, like, hey, good for her. That's awesome. Okay, where are we at here? Let's see. I'm trying to check if we're getting up to our question period. We have a little bit longer until we get to our advice and question period. So let's check out what else we have here. This one was an interesting thing that came up for me as well. Let's see here. Esports, baby. LeBron James is ready to become a streamer, sparking bidding war between Kick and Twitch. I don't know if anybody here has heard that, but apparently he's been murmuring on making rumors, putting the word out there, you know, quietly whispering about possibly coming on Twitch. Esports here is reporting that LeBron James has already earned his place among the greatest athletes ever and is ready to take on a new challenge. The NBA star revealed that he's looking to stream Madden NFL. This announcement immediately morphed into a bidding war between Twitch and Kick in the replies. This is hilarious, by the way, because if you know anything about Kick, you know that they're using a lot of the Twitch back-end services to actually host their content. So the fact that they're having a bidding war is very funny, I think, personally speaking. But yeah, let's see here. James is very proactive on social media, and even the most plain posts he makes get a reaction from thousands of fans. His latest tweet, while short, was anything but plain as LeBron expressed his intention of becoming a streamer, being a natural-born businessman. He also asked his audience which platform he should choose to stream at. What did he say in his tweet? Let me see here. Thinking of live streaming my EA Madden NFL games when I play. Who should I stream with? Meaning which platform brand? Lovely. Let's see. Popular Kick content creators Aiden Ross and Trainwreck were batting hard for their side, with Ross getting straight to the point and promising to get a bag for his glorious king, LeBron James. We can't deny the flair of this one. Oh my god, that's so corny. Get the bag. Ugh. Twitch CEO Daniel Clancy casually explained how Twitch is the place to be, while recognizing his minor bias on the matter. Of course, he went for the gentlemanly way, like, "Oh, please, sir, come to my Twitch. Come to Twitch. It's quite a nice place. You might enjoy it. It's better than that Kick, of course." Yeah, interesting. I wonder if is he retired yet, LeBron? I don't know if he's retired. LeBron is currently in his 21st NBA season, one in which he has already won a trophy, the first ever in-season tournament. He also won 4 proper NBA championships, played in 6 more NBA finals, scored the most points in the history of the league. all of the above to say LeBron James is one of the greatest NBA players ever. I mean, that's not up for debate, of course. I don't even care about sports or basketball, and I know that. But yeah, interesting. I wonder what he will pick. I hope he doesn't. Well, he's obviously money's gonna obviously be a consideration in this, but I hope he picks without thinking about the money. Not that I really care. It's whatever. But I just have to say again, Kick is basically just a little parasite lump off the side of Twitch. So I think honestly, if he wants the real bag, he will go for Twitch and not for Kick. Kick is supported by fucking gambling. I think that if he wants to not besmirch his image, he will avoid the fucking gambling streams and he will go with the more obviously corporate recognizable Twitch. Not to say that Twitch doesn't have its own problems, but that's my take here personally. Oh boy, what else do we have? What other silly news do we have here in terms of pop culture? Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Amaranth has been in the news recently for releasing an AI NSFW chatbot. Apparently it's had a lot of success. Let's see here. .esports is reporting on this. We'll check out the news here, read up on it. Apparently she's responding to community backlash following the launch of an AI NSFW chatbot version of herself. This is not surprising based on some of her past content, past ventures. Launched on January 2nd, fans can chat with the AI Amaranth and get original pictures by paying a monthly subscription fee from $6 to $200. Oh my god. Oh my god, can you imagine spending $200 a month on an AI chatbot of a streamer? Oh my god. She answered the complaints about the tool causing a loneliness epidemic, saying it was a solution instead. It's therapeutic, she wrote on a tweet January 4th. Hang on, I want to pull up this tweet here. Let's see. Thing is, the cause loneliness epidemic. I disagree. This doesn't cause loneliness. It's probably closer to being therapeutic. It's what people reach for to refrain from feeling alone. An AI that passes the Turing test is part of the solution, not the problem. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think this AI passes the Turing test. That's my biggest gripe with this tweet, frankly. I don't think it's going to do that. But anyway. Let's see what else. Despite backlash, Amaranth's new AI tool has seemingly gained tremendous success. Just 24 hours after its launch, Amaranth tweeted that she made over $34,000 in revenue with the AI chatbot. My god, that's a lot. They can choose between different plans. So the cheapest one is $5.99 a month and is for friendly interactions. The most expensive one costs $199.99 and offers a girlfriend experience. The bot will not only answer text prompts, but will also check in regularly and generate AI pictures when asked. The streamer says that apparently the user spent an average of $20 on the chatbot and that she earned that much within a day with only one tweet as advertisement. Okay. I mean, listen, I personally think that is kind of sad. I mean, get your money, girl. Like, go for it. Like, good for you. I would never spend this kind of money, though. I would never spend this kind of money on an AI chatbot. Let's see here. Apparently, here's the actual ad. I just launched an influencer AI that is not just a chatbot. She's based on my personality and has full autonomy and can remember what you tell in her, but won't tell anyone. She can send you texts, pics she takes spontaneously, and voice clips. Wait, hang on. I gotta read the rest of this. She'll make you custom videos if you are nice to her. If you are nice to her. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, here's a list of some of her products that she's sold. In 2022, Amaranth made headlines by selling fart jars and hot tub water, part of her unsettlingly named Cutie Patooties range. With over 6 million Twitch followers, hordes of horny fans are frothing at the mouth for Amaranth. And given her annual income surpassed $20 million in 2023. She clearly knows how to monetize them. My God. Oh my God. Look, just, you don't need to spend this money on this, okay? Please. Look, I'm not here to, Amaranth, I'm not here to undercut the people selling. I'm not here to undercut your business deals because, like, clearly you're making money and good for you. But, like, people buying this, you don't need to buy this. You don't need to buy this. You don't go find a hot tub and sniff that hot tub water. You don't need to sniff her hot tub water. You can sniff the hot tub water of other people. Okay? You can, I don't know. My God, like, honestly, go to a strip club. Just go to a strip club for once and, like, go and pay for a lap dance or go and pay for a couple of songs and just, like, do that. Just do that. Okay? That's so much easier than spending $200 a month on an AI chatbot of the streamer that you are horny for. Just go and be horny elsewhere. It's so much cheaper to be horny elsewhere. Go pay for an OnlyFans. What the hell? Oh, people. I'm just saying. You can do better. You can do better than this. You can do better than this. This is making me feel hungry. I don't know why this is making, maybe I'm just hungry. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. It confuses me so much. It confuses me so much. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It just confuses me a lot. Anyway, let's continue on. One last news story. This is more of old Hollywood. Hold on here. I've got a clip ready for you here, but Paula Abdul is actually coming out and is actually making an accusation about recently making a sex abuse accusation. She is suing her former American Idol producer over sex abuse claims specifically. Wild stuff. I remember growing up watching this stuff, so I'm actually interested to see what's going on here.
You may know her as the Grammy-winning pop princess of the late 80s and early 90s, whose songs like Cold Hearted blasted from practically every radio in America. Her dance moves
she had some
straight up
bops.
iconic. Her choreography, award-winning.
Paula Abdul is an American dream story. She starts off as a Laker girl and then inside of a year becomes the head choreographer, and Janet Jackson hired her to be her choreographer. And from there, someone said, you know what? If she can sing too, she can be a superstar.
More than 2 decades into her storied career, another big break, being a judge on the Star Maker hit TV show American Idol.
Okay. I want to know about the news.
After leaving the judges' table,
Absolutely beautiful.
but nearly a decade after leaving the judges' table, Abdul says behind the scenes she felt there was some behavior that was inappropriate and even criminal. Now suing executive producer Nigel Lythgoe, who she says subjected her to not just verbal harassment and bullying, but also sexual abuse. Since then, ABC News has learned 2 more women have filed lawsuits against the industry juggernaut, alleging that Lythgoe made unwanted sexual advances on them while they were contestants on the 2003 show All American Girl, which aired on ABC. Network representatives had not responded to our request for comment. Lythgoe, a pioneer of reality TV, a classically trained dancer and choreographer, he went on to develop and produce Britain's top-rated Pop Idol.
There you go, that's the end of Pop Idol.
Pop Idol. Oh my God, he's really touched a lot of places.
20 years has really made his mark as a talent-based reality TV producers. He's brought a number of television shows to American households and international households, developing and helping to develop new superstar talent.
In 2002, Lythgoe moved to the U.S. to produce American Idol, which became the #1 television show in the country,
God, I remember
drawing
these
up to
lines.
38 million viewers in one episode.
These lines were crazy, by the way. I remember these lines. Man, American Idol was such a fucking tour de force back in the day. Anyway, minor update. We are almost out of time on our segment here. I just wanted to update folks on this. crazy development. This guy touched so many different reality TV shows that a lot of us grew up on, and boy, he was doing some scummy shit back then. He was definitely doing some scummy shit back then, and probably has still been doing some scummy shit up until this point. So, hey, I gotta say, I hope your suit works out. I hope your suit works out, Paula. Just saying. All right. So with that, I think we'll move on to the final section of our show. We're wrapping up our pop culture segment here and moving on to questions with Kahtide. All right. How's that sound, folks? You like that? We're going to do a little question and answer. So, I've got a few things lined up for you here, but if you are interested, I'll tell you how you can submit your own questions.
You've got questions, we've got answers. Tell them, Kahtide.
All right, let's do it. Question time. I'm going to quickly swap some things over here. Okay. Let me get my question list up here. So, welcome to the Questions with Kahtide. This is our segment here where I close the show and I take questions from chat as well as anonymously submitted questions that are sent in by the audience. If you'd like to submit a question during the stream, hang on. There we go. If you'd like to submit some questions during the stream, you can definitely do so. You can actually submit channel points down there in the chat. If you would like to submit one immediately and get it answered, you use chips or channel points to submit the question live on Twitch. Or if you want to submit anonymously, you can submit via the Coffee with Kahtide Google form that you can find on my link tree. You can submit anonymously at any time. We do try and answer paid channel point questions first, but if there are none, then we move on to those anonymous questions and we try and answer those next. So remember, I don't submit don't submit bigoted or distasteful questions, or you will face my wrath. And by wrath, I mean I will delete your question or ban you. So be nice. Other than that, feel free to ask a question, especially if you're looking for advice on life, love, and labor. And with that, let's move on to our first question. I don't have any currently for the channel points, but I do have a number of anonymous questions that got submitted over the holiday, so I'm going to try and answer some of these for you now. Let's see here. First question. Okay, here is my question. How do I beat FOMO? I feel like I'm always wasting money or trying to keep up with my friends, and it's really tough. What do I do? Okay, thank you for the question, anonymous question asker. I appreciate that. FOMO is a tough one. I feel like a lot of people in our society struggle with FOMO. It's for those of you not in the know, FOMO is fear of missing out. That applies to just about anything that you could be missing out on, whether that's events, whether that's hanging out with friends, the newest, hottest product. You don't want to miss out on stuff. And I think that's a natural human response. I think we're all tailored towards like wanting information, wanting to be wanting novelty, wanting new things. And when new things come around, when new things are out there, people want to be involved in them, especially if they're like a limited time sort of thing. Like, one example I would suggest is like ARGs. If like a lot of ARGs are like timed events, you only get a certain amount of time to be a part of them, and like once it's done, it's done. You don't get to be a part of the experience anymore. So people get really motivated to like hop on ARGs or look for them and see what's starting out and be on top of that. I mean, it's obviously the same with brands, products, hanging out with friends. You don't want to miss out on the new product that's coming out, especially if it's limited edition. You don't want to miss out on time with your friends because, like, what if they stop liking you because you didn't hang out with them this one time? That's always something that goes on in the back of people's minds, I think. And I feel like at a certain point, you have to recognize that you can't be a part of everything. That's the biggest thing, I think. That you can't be a part of everything. You can only be a part of some things. You only have a limited amount of time on this planet. And you got to spend it how you want to spend it. So you have to recognize that. The other fact of it is that a lot of FOMO is not worth it. A lot of hype, because a lot of this is built on hype, I have to say. A lot of hype is not worth it. A lot of things get hyped up. A lot of products get hyped up. A lot of events get hyped up that turn out to be complete busts. I mean, fucking think about Fire Festival. Fire Festival was super hyped up. Everyone was talking about it for a while. The people from all around were spending ducats trying to get their cool little bungalow out there on Pablo Escobar's island. And what ended up happening is that all that FOMO ended up landing those people in a really unpleasant situation where they were stuck in fucking FEMA tents with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like getting like completely flooded out, you know, or like Burning Man, for example, you know, the fucking mud puddle earlier this last year, you know, people suffer from FOMO because they want to go to these events and they want to go to experience these things and don't think about the consequences or what the cost is going to be to them. Or alternatively, don't even have to worry about that, because a lot of FOMO, again, is about trying to sucker in people who have money. That's kind of the third point too. FOMO is kind of like, at least the like cultural concept of FOMO and hype, I think, is made for like fishing out whales. You know, it's made for finding people who have a ton of money and who can't control their finances very well, and it's made to try and draw them in, and it's made to try and get them to spend money, spend cash. You know, there's a psychological process at play here. So I think part of it is recognizing those facts, and part of it is like an internal process of kind of disconnecting yourself from, you know, from that like kind of FOMO process, from that hype process. Like what I always do is, like, when some new hot thing comes out, I always remind myself, like, okay, it's just hype. It's just hype. Like, let's see what happens when it comes out first, you know. That, like, for example, Cyberpunk 2077 looked cool. I won't say that it didn't look cool when I saw some of the trailers, but I was like, okay, this is a AAA game. How many AAA games have we seen that have hyped up their shit and not delivered? Many games have done this. So I'm just gonna not like build on the hype here. I'm not gonna really like care about it that much. I'm just gonna see what happens when the game comes out, because it always comes out, and you always get to play it, even if you're not the very first person on the wave to play it. You get to see what happens first, right off the bat. And what happened? Cyberpunk 2077 came out. It was bad. It was buggy. It was broken. It took years for them to get a lot of that additional content put in that people were expecting. And yeah, it was a bad launch. And maybe now at this point it could be playable and fun. But, you know, I evaded FOMO. I recognized what was going on. Oh God, sorry, ad break in progress. I don't know why my stream didn't warn me of an ad break, but sorry about that, folks. Anyway, I'll continue my response because I'm just wrapping it up. Anyway, you can break FOMO by recognizing that things are, you know, not exciting, not that exciting. The FOMO is built up. The FOMO is something that people are paid to cultivate. Yeah, I hope that answers it. FOMO is something that's paid to be cultivated. It's paid by ad agencies. It's built up by grassroots movements and things like that. FOMO is something that you can avoid by just recognizing that, you know, sometimes that what you're missing out on is not worth it. Not worth missing out on. Or I mean, it's not worth it, and it's fine to miss out on, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I hope that helps answer your question, friend. Thank you for the question, by the way. Let's move on to another question. Here we go. This one sounds like a good one we can approach. Hey, Kahtide. So I'm my 20s. Okay, hang on. Hey, Kahtide, I'm in my 20s, but I'm still a virgin. I've always found it pretty hard to approach people or even get to the place where I can ask someone out on a date, and I'm worried I'm never going to get there. Did you ever have problems like this? And if you did, what did you do? Oh, sorry. Bumped my mic there. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Hey, thank you for the question asker. I appreciate that. So thank you for sending that in. I would say that, like, I think this is a universal problem with everybody. Like, it's easy to worry about being a virgin in your 20s. You know, it's easy to worry about relationships. It's totally fine. Look, what I'll say is this. Have I ever been there? Have I ever had problems like this? Sure, yeah. I was a virgin until like late into high school. So I wasn't like, it took me until like pretty late into high school before I popped the cherry. I did the do, you know, I broke through the threshold of sexuality, you might say. But, yeah, I mean, I had problems meeting people initially. Like I was always kind of awkward. I grew up with, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And I didn't really like get into relationships until pretty late in my teen years. And even then I didn't really like get into anything very serious. A lot of the relationships were kind of weird and flighty. You know how you're like, you date someone in high school or like, you know, in school, and you're just like, nothing feels very concrete. It feels almost like you're seeing each other because you have like your lunch lines up or something like that, you know, like there's like flimsy reasons for why you're together, but you're also like full of hormones, so you kind of just want to make out and shit all the time. It's kind of like that, you know. So I had relationships kind of like that earlier, but like eventually I did meet somebody like late in my high school years, and we hit it off, and I managed to, you know, lose my virginity at that point. But those were periods where I didn't really like, I kind of just fell into those relationships, to tell you the truth. I would say that approaching people is a different story. Like if you feel like you're having a hard time being approachable or to approach others, I think that's something that you can definitely work on. And that, I would say this, if you can work on yourself and work on your like how you approach others, and to try and like improve your abilities and your skills in terms of like conversation and like empathy, I think that finding a relationship, finding a partner, finding sexual satisfaction at some point as well, those things will follow. You know, it's part of the dance. You know, it's part of the dance of learning to get to know someone, learning to understand how people work, learning to understand how you can interact with other people. So I would say, how this is how you really got to practice it. You got to approach people. You got to be willing to go out on a limb. Even if it's hard sometimes, you got to be willing to go out on a limb and just try. Even if it's not something that results in success, even if it ends up with an awkward interaction, what I think is really important is practicing it. Look, here's one thing I could almost suggest that's really easy to do, to just start off with. It's like, a lot of people have anxiety of like talking to cashiers at stores. So what if you just like practice your cashier conversations? Like that's an easy way to do it. Like when you go to the store, here's what you do. Okay. When you go to the store and you're talking to the cashier and you're ringing up your order, you would just ask how they're doing, or make a comment that you could tell a small story about, or like have an interaction with the cashier. Like, this is something that you can do. One, it treats the cashier like a human being, because you're actually interacting with them like a human being, having a conversation with them, you know, being kind. This is your way to practice being kind to somebody and compassionate and understanding, while also practicing your ability to talk to people, because then you're able to like be like having a conversation, a quick anecdote, a quick story before you have to leave. You know, it gives you an understanding of timing and like when you're lingering too long as well. Because like you could be like, oh, I go up to the cashier. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, thanks. How are you doing today? You know, maybe if they have a funny button that you recognize or something. That's something I always do. Is like if somebody has an interesting button on their like uniform, I'll be like, oh, I love that. You know, that's a cool button of yours or something. You know, like I've seen so many Pokemon like buttons that people have worn and shit like that, and like pins, like those like enamel pins, and I'm always like, oh shit, I love your Haunter pin, you know. Haunter's one of my favorite Pokemon. And then you can talk about Pokemon for like a brief second, you know, before you're finished with your transaction. And that's how you practice, you know. It's these little interactions that you kind of force yourself into, that feel uncomfortable but like really help to build your confidence. And then once you have that kind of confidence to start off with, you can build on it, and you can move on to things like, okay, I'm going to a bar now and I see someone cute and we've made eyes at each other, so like I'm gonna go up to them. Obviously, I think you said you're in your 20s. You're in your 20s, so you're probably almost in drinking age at this point. So, you know, you see someone at the bar. This is more advanced level, of course, but like maybe you're with your group of people, maybe they're with their group of people. You see each other, maybe if you get a chance, you bump into them, you say, oh, hey, nice to see you. My name's so and so. You seem cool. I wanted to see if you wanted to maybe talk a little bit or something. Can I buy you a drink? You can make those sorts of invitations to people. And if they're interested, they might respond positively. Of course, you can't expect that to always happen. That's never an expectation with somebody. You're a stranger, they're a stranger. But like when you build that confidence up, you can kind of almost detach yourself from like the emotional expectation of it, and you can just kind of pose the question or have the conversation and see what happens. And if things go positively, then you can maybe start to integrate maybe more of those emotional interests or expectations into the conversations. You can be like, okay, this person is cool. I want to spend more time with them. I want them to know that, things like that. Maybe you can gauge their response too, see if they feel positive or negative based on kind of things they're saying and how they're acting. But like, it's a slow process, but it's one you have to build on. And not to continue on this question too much longer, because I do want to move on to some more of the other questions I have here. But I would say, I'll say one thing. I had a roommate in the past who was in a similar position. He was in his later 20s, not 60s, later 20s. I was like in your position here of like being in like my early 20s here. We were roommates, and he was still a virgin. Actually, I think he wasn't a virgin. No, he had like sex like once or twice. So he was like almost a virgin, but like not quite. And he, what happened was like we lived together for a while. He was a close friend of mine. I feel like he really developed himself as like a more social person during that time, partly through like opening up more with other people, and also like having a big group to interact with. And he opened up a lot more, and eventually he actually like he landed a girlfriend and like or partner. I don't know. I don't recall if their gender. Unfortunately, he recalled he got a partner. He ended up having more sex. He was feeling more fulfilled. He was going out on dates. And it was just his time. Eventually it was his time, and he started to kind of blossom a bit more and really develop that kind of relationship skill and like develop his conversational skills. It's going to take time. It's going to take work, but you're going to get there. Don't worry about it. Just put yourself out there in those social situations, even if they feel a little uncomfortable, even if they feel like something you want to step away from, like put yourself out there. Of course, mind your boundaries. If somebody's being like an asshat to you, if you're feeling like your boundaries internally are like getting compromised, where you're like doing things you don't feel comfortable with, or saying things you don't mean, or whatever, trust your gut, get out of those situations. But do go into those situations that make you a little uncomfortable because you're nervous, or you're anxious. That's the best way to make friends, to make acquaintances, to meet new people. And it's really going to help you out in your life. So I hope that helps answer your question here. I'm going to sip on my water a little. Let's see here. New question. This might be too broad, but how do you live a fulfilling life? Everything seems really empty and hollow right now, and I don't really know how to feel like it's worth it. Thank you. Oof, that's a tough question. I'm sorry to hear that, that you're feeling that way, question asker. Thank you for your question, by the way. Do appreciate it. This is a tough one. A lot of people out there are feeling really depressed right now. A lot of people out there are feeling really low. They're feeling like they don't have any power. They don't have any. They can't affect anything around them. That things are falling apart. And I totally understand where that's coming from. I totally understand where that's coming from. A lot of things are bad right now in the world. A lot of things are sad in the world. And it's also one factor is definitely that like a lot of people, especially in America, but in a lot of places in the world, are just being deprived of the ability to like have a meaningful existence. Whether it's on the really terrible side of the spectrum, where people are just getting shot at and blown up, and they aren't even allowed to like fucking live, all the way up to like maybe the cushier side of things, like here in America, where like it's still not great, but like you're forced to either work or starve. You know, you're forced to work, or you are going to be a homeless person. You're going to be kicked out on the street. You're going to have to scrounge for survival, like so many people in this country have been forced to do because of our system. A lot of people are struggling. It sucks. It sucks a lot. This is the time where you need to hold on to your hope. I think it's very important to hold on to your hope because things will get better. Think about this. One thing I think is important is to have perspective. Think about all of human history. How many times have we lived through horrible cataclysmic events where like thousands, millions of people died, and like we've still survived. We've gotten through it. You know, we've gotten through it. Even though things have been miserable and awful, and we didn't have a way to control all that miserableness and awfulness, even though we couldn't stop it, we lived through it. We survived, and we tried to change things for the better after the fact. I think that's what people have done in many cases, but it's a shame because so often what we really should be doing is working proactively together to try and stop some of these bad things from happening. And that's where I think you can do some work for yourself. See, in order to live a fulfilling life, I think it's about being proactive about your life. So many people, I think, occupy kind of this world of being reactive to things. You know, something bad happens to me, I react to it. Something good happens to me, I react to it. It's important to be proactive. And this isn't to say like, look, you shouldn't react to situations around you. You should absolutely react to situations around you. Sometimes it's imperative to react to situations around you in order to survive or to maintain your life, you know? But a lot of people want to ignore things. A lot of people want to ignore problems in their life too. I find, at least, I think it's a problem. At least, I'm not. It's a tricky subject to say because I'm not trying to speak overly broadly, because I know that everyone has a different life situation. But it's easy to ignore what we want. It's easy to ignore the steps that we want that we need to take to get there. I'll use an example. Like, let me try and like come up with like an example here. Like you might, like relationships, for example. Like you might be in a relationship you're not happy with, and like you might be unhappy in the relationship all the time. But you might be telling yourself a story of like, hey, I actually, the reason that things are bad right now is because I'm just like, it's not going right for X, Y, and Z reason, and I just need to fix that reason. Or like, you might try and like make compromises to try and get by. You might just deny it or lie to yourself and be like, no, this person is great for me. But at the end of the day, you're going to be happier. You're going to be healthier. You're going to feel more fulfilled and less empty when you acknowledge the truth for yourself. And you have to acknowledge some truths. That's kind of part of feeling fulfilled. It's like, and I'm not telling you to take the doomer pill, because the doomer pill is not a truth. Okay, that is just a kind of death sentence spiral that you're accepting. No, the truth is that you have to make decisions for yourself. You have to recognize what you like, what you want, what you don't like, what you don't want. You have to set boundaries for yourself for what you're willing to accept, what you are not willing to allow yourself to do, things like that. You have to be willing to make those steps. So, you know, I think that's really important. It's a confrontation. You know, I feel like this is my philosophy, I think, that I've formed in life, is that life is a confrontation with yourself. You have to kind of confront what your thoughts are. You have to kind of confront where you're coming from. You have to confront what you believe is true and what you believe is false. And this isn't to say like everything is up for question. You know, obviously there are things that we can prove and we can mark as true, but you have to be willing to examine yourself, and you have to be willing to examine your situation and your position. If you are unhappy in your life and you're feeling empty, you're feeling hollow, you don't feel like things are worth it, perhaps the things that you're doing in your life are contributing to that. Maybe you need to change what you're doing. Maybe you need to change your environment. That's often a part of it. Like maybe your environment around you, whether that's your friend group, whether that's your living situation, your family life, is not doing it for you. Maybe you need to change and make something else happen for yourself. Maybe your relationship with like your partner isn't doing it for you, and you need to step away from that or to break it off entirely. Perhaps maybe you're not sure what your goals are in life. I think that's a big reason for why people feel hollow a lot. If you don't really know what your goals are in life, if you don't know what you want, if you don't have a passion for something, then it's going to feel hollow. It's going to feel empty. You're not going to have something that's driving you forward. It's important to have something that you move towards. Moving towards is really the thing. Something to move, like a goalpost to move towards, is really going to help you feel more motivated and more fulfilled. Along the way, as you move towards that goalpost, you're going to accomplish other things on the side, and you're going to feel more fulfilled. You're going to feel like things are more meaningful. It's easy to get wrapped up in the world, in the news cycle, in how awful things can get. But it's important to remember yourself, to remember what you can achieve, and to also be there for other people once you do achieve that. Once you get to that place where you're fulfilled, where you're living a life that you feel is like worth living, you need to help others. That's kind of like, I think, the moral imperative that you have at that point. As a human being, as a fellow human being, it's important to then help others in your life that you can raise up. Now that you've raised yourself up a little bit, you got to do what you can to provide advice and guidance and mentorship to those around you who need it. So that's kind of what I think for you. Find your path, walk your path, figure out what's true for you and what's not true for you, what means the most to you, what you're passionate about. And then once you've succeeded in achieving that on some level, try and help some others. Try and bring other people up with you. And you'll live a good life, I think, in that case. I got to pee, so I'm going to wrap this up with one more question. Are you playing any hot games that you aren't streaming? What are you playing outside your streams? Thanks for the question, Anonymous Asker. I have been playing a fuck ton of Space Engineers. I don't know if anybody has been playing Space Engineers here. I've been considering streaming it. I really want to play it with other people because I think it's going to be so much more fun to play with other people in almost like a server environment. I think that would be so much fun. But Space Engineers, go check it out if you like construction games, if you like exploration games, if you like things like space, just like anything space, hard sci-fi, mining and crafting. It's very Minecrafty. But that's been so much fun. I've been kind of playing solo to learn the ropes of the game. I've been building a lot of spaceships, bases. I've been working in an asteroid belt lately, doing planet side kind of constructions. You can do kind of both of those things, which is really cool. You can do both planetary kind of construction and space construction, and you can kind of go between them as you fly ships off planet and into space. Really cool stuff. So that's kind of what I've been playing a lot. Been really enjoying that. So go check that out if you haven't had a chance to check that out. Yeah, other than that, what else have I been playing? Anything else? I played a little bit of Thief, the Dark Project recently. I got to finish that though. I stopped midway through. So that one was really fun. Really enjoyed that. Might stream that too. That's something on the docket. But yeah, that's kind of been it really. I've been working hard on Sav lately, so most of my attention's been going towards that, as well as to making videos. So that was the other thing. I did make a recent video on YouTube, so go check that out if you haven't checked it out already. But yeah, I gotta go pee, so I think that's where we'll wrap up the show here. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Appreciate the viewership. Go check this out on Spotify if you want to listen to it as a podcast. It's also going to be on YouTube as well, VODs and videos there. What else do we got? Anything else I got a shout out here? Yeah, I guess that's our show really. Check out Spotify, the VODs. Thank you for everyone who watched the show. Thank you for special for the recent subscription, the gifted sub Sordior yesterday. Thank you as well for some of the recent follows. That was the Otaku Nerd 9001, V Magor, and Mr. Knight followed recently during that holiday break. So thank you everybody who's been following. Appreciate the love. Do share the channel if you want to, if you feel inclined to. I always appreciate that share. So thank you so much everybody who does share it around and gets other people viewing. Yeah, and thank you for joining the Kahtide crew, y'all. Goodbye, everyone. Be sure to tune in for more Kahtide content Saturdays and Sundays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until next time, see ya.
Well, looks like that's our show, folks. Until next time.